Hello everyone, welcome to the Great Indian School podcast. The podcast has now reached Gwalior and we are at Scindia Kanya Vidyalaya and I have with us Miss Nishi Misra, the principal of the school. So welcome ma'am, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to you, and I
Thank you.
welcome you to the heart of incredible India.
Thank you so much. So, ma'am, I was really looking forward to this conversation because we have actually seen that you have had such a long experience and such an illustrious career. But I wanted to know more about you, what you are as a person, and we'll start from the basics. Tell us more about your childhood, your education. Where did you grow up?
I grew up all over the country because my father belonged to the civil services and he was transferred every few years. So while at that time it seemed like a very rude uprooting, but today when I look back, I think there have been more merits than demerits in that kind of a life. I grew up with a lot of sensitivity to different cultures. I understand different geographies. I am more finely attuned to different types of people. But of course, the demerit was that I was always a loner, always the new girl in the class.
Yes.
So it made me shy, it made me a lonesome
Would you
person.
label yourself as an introvert child?
I would label myself as a shy person.
Okay, a shy person. So, did you end up making a lot of friends as you grew older?
No,
No, never in college as well.
no.
Okay, so you might have been the person who has selected friends, but very good friends.
I can say that my friends are those who remained friends with me despite the fact that I was absent from that location because of my father's frequent postings.
Yes.
But so I give them the entire credit for keeping the friendship alive.
Nice. So, are you still in touch with them? Are
Yes,
they still taking those efforts to stay in touch with you?
absolutely, yes.
So, do you all meet frequently?
Not very frequently, but in the days of WhatsApp, there are
Yes.
no boundaries.
Social media is a boon in that way, absolutely. So, one more thing that I wanted to understand: what was your schooling like? What did you have a favorite teacher or a favorite subject, or were you a front bencher or a back bencher? What kind of a student were you?
So for me, when I look back on school, there is only one word that comes to my mind, and that is confusion.
Okay.
Because I could never ever understand whether when I'm going from class 2 into class 3, uh, whatever I had learnt in the previous class seemed to completely be obliterated by what the demands of the next class were, because it was a totally different school, totally different city, totally different teachers. So that continuity in my education was missing.
Any favorite city? The ones where you lived?
I lived in Gujarat for a long time,
Okay.
so Vadodara and Ahmedabad, my
Nice.
favorite cities.
Nice. So have you grown up eating Gujarati food a lot?
Not so much because at home it was never Gujarati food.
What kind of food did you have at your home?
My parents belonged to Western UP, so
Okay.
that was the cuisine we always had.
Nice. So you had your favorite cuisine or favorite dish that your mother or your father cooked for you?
I think, yes, we were a household that was big on potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite aloo ki dish? How do you
It
prefer your
has to be
potatoes?
the bedai aloo. That is
Nice.
the combination
Yes.
that was most popular.
And it famously comes out of UP. Yeah,
Yes,
yes. And do you have any siblings?
I do.
How was it growing up with them?
I have a younger brother who was most annoying, and but unfortunately, as he grew up, he developed certain mental illnesses.
Okay,
So today, I am a caregiver to him.
nice. And elder sisters are the best caregivers after mothers, absolutely. So, ma'am, one more thing I wanted to understand: what were the birthday parties like for you as a child? How, because you said that you used to transfer a lot. So, how did you celebrate your birthday? Did you like that? Inviting people over and having that samosa. Just describe it for me. How was it?
So yes, birthday parties were a big deal. The preparations would begin months in advance because everything had to be home cooked. Those were not the days of the Swiggy and the Zomato.
Yes.
So for me as a child, it must have been a been something I looked forward to, but for my mother, it would have definitely meant a lot of hard work. So, uh, yes, the table was always full, the gifts would come in, and the best part of the birthday party would be when all the friends went away and only the gifts were left
Gifts
to be
left.
opened.
Yes.
That used to be the high point.
So now I want to ask you that, as a human, biases are natural. As you grow up, certain things that you saw in your childhood have shaped you as a person, and we keep learning, we keep evolving as we grow. Now, as an educator, now you are at a very responsible position. How do you make sure that any personal bias doesn't impact your student's life? So, suppose if you particularly favor a certain kind of thing and you see that a child does not adhere to it, how do you make sure that you are accommodating to that as well? How do you learn that skill?
I think I've been lucky because my experience with schools has been so wide and so varied that I have been able to be witness to different styles of teaching, different styles of parenting, different circumstances in which my friends came from. So, uh, having an open mind is the gift of that childhood. So, for me, it doesn't come with a lot of difficulty. In fact, I invite a different, a contrarian point of view because I feel that is the way to grow. If you have a very regulated single mindedness about something which is only your own point of view, you can never hope to grow.
Yes.
So for
So,
me, that is something which I thrive on, and I think my school thrives on it as well, because everybody comes with a different idea, and the all of us benefit from each other's varied ideas. And I have come to believe that the more ridiculous an idea sounds, the better its hope is for granting you that high quality.
yes. So you grew up in a joint family or a nuclear family?
Nuclear.
Nuclear family. So were you close to your mother or your father? Who you
Yes, I
closer
was
to?
close to both. My
Okay.
father, like fathers in those days, especially in the civil services, was a little more distant.
Yes.
But it was his stories, his life that inspired me more.
So from your parents, what you saw as a child, did you ever bring it into your own parenting?
I think I did. And I personally believe that there is no such thing as a perfect parent.
Yes.
Every parent at some stage or the other comes to a point where he or she apologizes to the child for not being the perfect parent. So that is the way I have been also, and my children are very forgiving, I think.
Yes, as children should be, because parents are also humans. The same thing that we say with biases. It's about that nobody is perfect. We do make mistakes a lot of times. Also, I want to understand what vacation Nishi is like. What are you like when you're on a vacation?
My favorite vacation would be the one that I spend right here at home without a phone,
Okay.
without somebody knocking down my door saying that I need to attend to something or the other. And if I could just vegetate in front of a television, that
No
would
one, no
be
one asks you for a podcast.
no, and nobody asks for a podcast, certainly.
Nice. So, do you enjoy spending time alone or with your family?
Family time, of course, is premium, but I'm happy being alone also.
You don't have any particular travel destination that you frequently visit or you want to
Not
visit?
frequently, but within the family, we do visit each other a lot.
Nice. And yes, I want to understand that when you were a child, you've seen a lot of children since you've changed a lot of schools as well. You've seen a lot of children who are mischievous, who are notorious as people label them. Have you ever committed any punishment or have you ever committed any mischief that you pulled off and you remember the punishment that was given to you till date?
Actually, like I said, that I was always confused in my childhood because of the frequent postings. So one becomes mischievous when one is fully grounded into the
An
place
environment,
that you
yes,
are in.
yes.
But if you're just finding your way about, you don't indulge in mischief, you commit errors. So I would get punished for errors like not doing your homework or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But there was never any time for mischief
Yeah.
because
So did
you
it
never really stayed in one place long enough uh, to think
be
of
that comfortable around
being
people? Yes.
mischievous.
So did it ever? We talk a lot about mental health of students nowadays, and I've seen that you also talk about a lot about bullying and how to prevent it, and you were not absolutely, because with boarding schools that pressure also comes in about ragging and bullying, and but never was. I don't think it was a conversation in your time when you were a student. Since you changed a lot of schools and you were a shy kid, did it ever tamper with your mental health? Did you ever feel like you need to talk to someone or share your feelings with someone and give, someone who could give you an ear at that point of time?
I suppose definitely there were instances where I felt that I had been bullied. If I look back on it and bring those incidents to today's context, it was definitely bullying. But I remember getting bullied, but I don't think I ever spoke about it. Maybe there was never an opportunity, or it was not the done thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't think people would talk about it, and especially because the bullying would end with that particular posting, so there wasn't much time. So if there was one incident on one particular day, or maybe on 2 or 3 days, it would never continue for a long time, because then one would move out from
Yeah.
that area. So, uh, but bullying was very real, very much there, and whether it was at that time or it is today, it has to be spoken about, it has to be tackled. And a bully is not always the villain that the bully is made out to be. The bully may be having her own issues also,
Yeah. True.
so they have to be tackled as well.
Yes. So were you in a girls' school or were you in a co-ed school?
For the most part, I was in a girls' school.
Okay, so that's that's what where I was heading to. That in today's day and age, you see that we talk a lot about inclusivity and growing up, and how the world is changing. We are moving towards technology. Do you think that girls' school and boys' school separately, do they hold relevance in today's world, and will they in the coming future?
I feel that single gender schools are extremely relevant. What is unusual about single gender schools in the minds of people is the fact that life is not about single gender living, it is about mixed living.
Yes.
But then, aren't schools also unnatural? You learn in a family, you learn at your mother's knee, you learn from life. You never learn things in a classroom. Life doesn't come in a question paper, life
Yeah.
comes as it comes. So, when the very concept of learning and the premise of a school is not something which is a natural thing, except human beings, no other creature goes to school.
Yeah.
They all learn, and so do human beings. An infant knows how to get fed by
Yes.
crying. So life teaches. So
Yeah.
that is the way to learn. But if one is to get into a school, which is an organized institution with a timetable, with subjects, and all the other unnatural ways of teaching, learning that one is expected to go through, then I feel under those circumstances, single gender teaching and learning is much better uh, than the other options, because even in a family you find that children of the same age, a boy will grow in a different way than a girl. Their growth milestones are different, their aspirations are different, their achievements are different. And so when they are put together, there might not be the same parity. And in a all girls environment, for example, uh, their growth milestones are the same.
Yes.
So you can expect that if you are in a class of the same age group, you can hope to have a competitive nature or a collaborative nature which is relevant to that age group.
Yes.
The other good thing about single gender schools is that you are a little less conscious of the other gender. You're more comfortable being with people who, uh, for the most part, it doesn't matter whether they consider how you look or
Yeah.
what they judge you for.
The
So
exteriors.
the exteriors and the so there would be a greater comfort
Yes.
uh, in a single gender school, and
That's a very interesting way to look at it, because as per the popular belief in people are becoming more woke, as they say, single gender schools have been at the bashing end of the points. But you put a very interesting point, that's a very interesting way to look at it. I never thought about it before. Yeah, thank you. And one more thing, that Scindia as a school is about legacy. You get a long history attached to it. Now, how are you changing it into the world of AI? How are you adapting to the technology? Are you still those traditionalists, or are you traditionalists with a touch of modernity? How do you balance yourself with that?
so uh, the founder of our school, Rajmata Vijayaraja Scindia, she established the school to be a school for young women who were rooted in their culture and yet had a very broad modern vision. And that in itself is a very grand vision to have, to be conscious of your legacy and yet to be mindful of your surroundings, to be mindful of the times that you live in. My own contribution to that vision is the fact that every girl in my school should be of service to others.
Okay.
So, service is a huge aspect that we pay attention to. We are very well known for our project Sankalp, which is the manufacturing of sanitary napkins. We establish these manufacturing units even in villages where women can earn a livelihood and raise the standard of hygiene in the general area. Uh, the legacy of heritage is very big in our school because, unlike most schools, we refer to our teachers as Didi, and which gives a very close and uh, comfortable bond between the
That relationship,
student and the
yes.
teacher. The celebration of all kinds of cultural festivities. We even celebrate a heritage festival called Dharohar, where we pick up dying arts of different time periods of India's history or a different state, and we try and revive it by inviting other schools to be part of this festival, so that the research about those culture elements is done by a larger population and more information is had
Yes.
about them. And finally, it is important to be of an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes.
So, starting from the manufacturing of sanitary napkins, that becomes like a business plan that every girl is aware of. And also about having a window to the world of STEM, the entrepreneurial and the pioneering spirit that is shown by our students in the construction of our first humanoid robot called Sasha.
Wow.
Is the latest feather in our cap. Sasha was even presented to uh, Her Excellency the President of India,
Wow, amazing.
Srimati Draupadi Murmu. So, being of service, having having roots in our heritage, and having an entrepreneurial mindset. SHE, she,
Oh, wow.
is SKV.
Nice, nice. That's such an interesting abbreviation to it. Nice. So, coming to that she part of it, you are a stalwart educationist who has seen a lot of changes in the country, in the environment, in the world around you. Do you think education is still a patriarchal sector?
It is in some ways, yes, it is. And yet, education is a great equalizer, a
Yes.
great leveler. So, I would not be pessimistic and say that it is patriarchal, but I would not be delusional and say that it is not. it is definitely patriarchal, not just in education, but the world is.
Yeah.
And it is just one of those things that our society features. I won't say it's plagued by, I'm tempted to, but I won't say that. It is something that exists, and there are ways around it. You have success stories, you have stories of great resilience.
You are one of those stories.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but certainly there are ways around every obstacle that comes your way. And for women, maybe the obstacles are a little bit more, but I think over centuries, over millennia of dealing with this kind of an issue has given our DNA a strength that we are not even aware of, but it comes into play when it is required.
Are you proud of the fact that you, or you particularly aspire to raise feminists out of the school?
A feminist is anyone who is a female. So,
But a lot of
why-
women see feminism as something which they don't want to associate with, or particularly a controversial term, because they call it the F word. But feminism actually, what do you see it as?
why is there no counterpart to feminism? Why isn't there something called a maleism?
So
So
people
for me,
say that,
feminism is just what you are. That's it.
yeah. So a lot of times people say, as we say, right, the word is patriarchal. So a lot of times people say that patriarchy's opposite is feminism, but feminists say that no, we are not the opposite to patriarchy. Patriarchy's opposite is equality. So feminism in turns mean equality for the rights.
Absolutely. I
So
was about to say that uh, the day you stop needing to have feminists is the day that one should aspire to. That is that you have to just proceed on the assumption that there are no divisions.
yes, that'll be an ideal world to look forward to. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your time. It was wonderful chatting with you.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you.